Hey, this is JGen11 back with another video. I'm showcasing my Halloween Cup team consisting of Shadow Victrebell, Toxicroak, and Crustle. Can't get too much more toxic than Shadow Vic, and Toxicroak is toxic in its name. I made it all the way up to 14th on the leaderboard at one point in time. I was on the first page for a few days using this team, so I'll showcase you guys a few battles with using the team. Shadow Victrebell is the lead in the Shiftry. I have two things that can counter it in the back, so that's why I do a switch. The Azumarill counter swap you'll see pretty often. It's actually very close. The battle between Toxicroak and Azumarill. Obviously, you want to land the Sludge Bomb. It doesn't quite KO. You still have to counter down afterward. But definitely go for Sludge Bomb because a failed bait is probably the worst situation to be in. Sometimes I play it out 2 shields. Sometimes I just come in and bring in Victrebell because if I can Razor Leaf down Azumarill before he gets to the Ice Beam, then it could be some useful energy. And so I think it's going to be useful energy, but it's actually an Alolan Marowak, so it's not quite as useful as I was hoping it to be. Fortunately, he's got no shields, and Crustle is really bad against his backline. I don't make the correct shielding decision, but it ends up working out okay. He should be going Leaf Blade anyway, but the good thing is that I stored up a Leaf Blade, so I will win CMP against the Alolan Marowak, so I just got to get it moderately low to be able to win this game. And so I'll showcase some wins and some losses. I do win this game, but I will lose a few others later on in this video. The next battle is going to be what you all are waiting for. Shadow Victrebell on Shadow Victrebell against Wallower is another content creator. So the Shadow Victrebell mirror, you just don't want to get sprayed, is basically how you lose that mirror. But since both Victrebells are pretty low, there's no point to shield it. I don't think I would win the mirror anyway if I shielded, and I don't think he gets to 2, at least before I can counter down. For some reason, he switches to save it as a sack, but that's fine by me since Toxicroak has a pretty good matchup against Shadow Victrebell, or against Crustle, sorry. And I shield this thinking he's running his Mawile team in the back. Otherwise, you don't really need to shield a Rock Slide on a Crustle. So I'm wary of potential sack in the back, but he's running a Alolan Marowak instead of his Mawile. So I'm still wary about the sack. Probably the safer play here would have been to shield and get the Mud Bomb off and then just smack down the rest of the team. But Marowak now gets Shadow Bone based on the raid day, which makes the Crustle matchup a little worse because he can get to 2 Shadow Bones, which would mean you have to shield one to be able to farm down completely. But he doesn't quite get there, and I'm able to Rock Slide the 1 HP Shadow Victrebell. And then going up against Caleb Pang. I believe this is the team he's been running. And if you blink, Tyranitar goes down. I think if you blink twice, maybe the whole team goes down. No, so I build up to a Leaf Blade on Victrebell just in case it's useful in the back. I don't need to shield this. I'll save shields for Victrebell just in case things get bad. So I built up to the Leaf Blade just so that I can throw it on a dime if needed in the back. So fortunately I'm able to get to both mud bombs here, which will be forcing a lot of pressure onto his team. And so he's out of shields, and I still got 2 pretty healthy Pokemon and 2 shields. Just a pretty hard team comp to Rock Hole. Crustle is probably the better safe swap in his situation, just because Victrebell has to shield and it gets taken most of its health down. So here we have Crustle on the lead. Sometimes the Crustles like to switch out after they throw their X-Scissor. But I usually play it out and get ready for a potential switch. So he does switch into Alolan Marowak. Fortunately, I have Crustle. I believe this is after the update. Yeah, so Shadow Bone coming through. Unfortunately, I didn't press a move, so I'm down a shield. And then I got to eat a move on someone. So it's very scary to be down 2 shields with 2 very squishy Pokemon. But Crustle can't really do anything. And then we have Quillfish. So Toxicroak has a decent matchup against Quillfish because it's so glassy. The Mud Bombs are actually going to add up. And by add up, one of them does a ton. So we get our shield back. He could have thrown the Aqua Tail earlier. I'm fairly confident because I don't outpace him by that much. The CMP tie helped me a lot in this game. But this is going to be that weird situation where you get a tie. So Shadow Victrebell into Scizor. This is a bad matchup for Shadow Victrebell. Toxicroak does decent on the safe swap, and we get another Azumarill come in. In this meta, you need to have 2 things that are a check at least to Azumarill, just because it's the most common Pokemon used in this meta. Like, of all the Pokemon to be weak to, you don't want to be weak to Azumarill. So I'm going straight Sludge Bomb here. He doesn't shield the second time. He was like right at that Ice Beam too, which is very fortunate for me. Scizor is a problem, still a big problem for the other 2 Pokemon because the Bullet Punches are super effective on Crustle, and then the Razor Leafs don't do that much since they're double resisted on Shadow Scizor. So we simultaneous KO, and then it's Crustle in the back. So we know how this matchup goes. We just shield and farm down. It takes a long time for Crustle to get to its moves. I mean, Victrebell takes a little longer, but that was a close game that we were able to just barely pull out from a bad lead situation. Victrebell into Toxicroak. So Toxicroak just barely wins the one shield, and that's normally how I'll play it, because I don't want to burn both shields when a back line could be one shot by a lot of things. It's very close to being able to Razor Leaf down Toxicroak, but you can't quite do it unless they go for Sludge Bomb. But he doesn't actually shield here, which I actually would have preferred him to shield, because they would normally have a decent response to Victrebell coming in. So I safe swap into Toxicroak to prevent the farm down, because I have two things that are decent against his wireless. And now he's got a 2-shield Azumarill, which is one of the scariest things to see. But remember that we saved the Victrebell. So unfortunately we have to shield here. Otherwise we auto lose. We're just able to get the Leaf Blade off before he gets to another Ice Beam. And then we bring in Crustle. His wireless is at like half health, so we're looking pretty good in this game. And we don't throw because he's got a shield. Unfortunately, Dragon Breath registered, but Victrebell had enough health to survive the one Dragon Breath. Victrebell into Galvantula. So this is fairly neutral. I mean, Galvantula normally wins with less shields. The lunges will do a ton of damage, but I don't like to burn both shields quite that early. So I like to throw and then try to catch the second lunge onto Toxicroak. Toxicroak double resists the lunges. But he actually doesn't shield his Galvantula, which is really weird. Unfortunately, I don't have a great response to Toxicroak, especially when you're down shields and potentially down energy. I lose CMP here, which is really bad. Because otherwise he doesn't really have that much of incentive to shield, since he is already basically dead. But he does shield it anyway. And then a Azumarill comes out, and we have 0 shields. I don't know why I go Mud Bomb. The only way to win is if I can land a Sludge Bomb with my back line. And there's no way he's throwing Hydro. The other way would have been to catch a Hydro Pump onto Crustle, but he's not going to throw a Hydro Pump. So there's not really too much we can do here. We can try to farm it down with Crustle, but the bubbles are just going to add up. And so we get to 1 smackdown away from being able to finish it off. So that was another close loss. I mean, Toxicroak still had a little health, but... So Victrebell into Zweilous. So since we have 2 things that can check it, we'll do our safe swap. And interesting that he brings in the Quillfish. The nice thing about this is even if we lose lead, we can farm down fairly easily with Victrebell later. So Aqua Tail does a ton of damage there. I don't think he can get to a Sludge Wave on the Victrebell, but you definitely want to wait out the switch clock just because of how fast the games or the Razor Leafs work. So Zweilous should be coming back in. And we don't play around. We go straight into Crustle and just pray. Even though this is almost certainly a body slam, I shield it. It's a Tentacruel. So this is a very weird situation, because I make a mistake here and I think that this wireless has less health than it does. My plan was to try and Leaf Blade these wireless to win the game. So that's why I make a very weird play here and only get an ice. I should have tried to do like 0 bubbles if that was really my plan, or not even throw the rock slide, because at that point, yeah, I probably could have farmed down Tentacruel and possibly got to a Sludge Wave. That would have been the other way. I was thinking Leaf Blade would have been enough, but I forgot how much health wireless had. But that was a close one. I definitely threw. Victrebell into Wigglytuff. This is a very good matchup for me. So he's got a couple charms go through, so I'm not sure if I can Razor Leaf it all the way down. But I end up catching it on Crustle, which is a very questionable play, since I figured that he had a second smacker in the back, but that ended up not being the case. So Victrebell can come back in, but I've taken a lot of charm and smackdown damage as it is. So I'm trying to pressure the final shield. I do get it. And then I can't quite Razor Leaf down. And then Toxicroak up 2 shields. That is not the worst thing in the world, but it's definitely up there with the worst things that you can see. And I make a mistake here. I think I could have won this game. I definitely need to go for double Sludge Bomb. A Mud Bomb is not going to do enough. And I only needed like 1 more counter to get there. And then since counter's a 2-turn move and charm is a 3-turn move, I think I could have won that game. But it would have been super close. So Quillfish, really good lead. It's very interesting that they're staying in. There's no way he can get to a Sludge Wave, but I shield anyway, thinking he's running the Caleb Pang line. That was probably a mistake, considering he brings in the Worm. I was thinking I would really need the Victrebell, and then Worm comes in. So Worm is like probably the worst thing of any Pokemon for my team to see. And then he's got 2 shield, a Azumarill, and a Worm. So this is not looking great right now. But he doesn't shield a Sludge Bomb, which was very questionable to not shield that. And then at the end, I almost get played here by him just letting me farm him down so he can get some more confusions in. So his play is to get to 2 Iron Heads. And then I can't throw any moves because he has 2 shields. So he gets the second Iron Head. And then the Smackdown goes through. Thanks for watching, guys.